So I think most of us felt that, being able to get out and be somewhere green was really important. And because there was like no planes and no traffic, we could see the stars in the sky again. We saw amazing sunsets. People began to appreciate birdsong. And now the studies are showing that time spent in nature actually has a really positive impact on your physical health, your mental health, and your longevity. So, that's one good thing that's come out of it. But are we all still, making time for that, or are we just going back to kind of our old ways? The other things of interest that have come out is that having a purpose that transcends yourself is really important to your mental health particularly, but it will have knock-on effects. So, you could say, well, I do my podcast and I love doing my podcast and I get to meet interesting people and I share that knowledge with others. A lot of that is still to do with self-satisfaction. So having something that doesn't necessarily do anything for you, but gives you purpose in life is really important.
And what could that be? That could be
volunteering. It could be, for me, like I give out a lot of free information on Instagram and not to try to get work or anything like that. It could be, so, when I say volunteering, that sounds quite big, but it could be like asking your elderly neighbour if you can do their groceries for them when you go to the supermarket. It could be calling up a friend and checking that they're okay. Just something that makes you feel like life is worth living, but doesn't necessarily earn you money or directly improve your life.
I've spoken to a lot of therapists who talk about the fact that two of the things we never want to feel is like we're A, different, and B, we're not enough. And I was thinking about that through the lens of our tribes. In the context of a tribe, if I was different, there was a risk of me being kicked off the tribe. And if I didn't feel like I was enough, I again would have a risk of being kicked out of the tribe because I'm not valuable to the tribe. And in the context of what you were saying about serving others, is that again sort of like a prehistoric desire to feel like we're adding value and we are of use to the tribe by serving the greater good of our tribe? Is that where that instinct comes from in us?
I love what you've done, which is exactly what I said, which is when I'm not sure of the answer, I'll go back to evolution.
Mm-hmm. I always do that.
Yeah, I love that. I think I hadn't thought of it like that, exactly like that before, but I think it's true. A tribe, sadly, could not afford to carry dead weight. So if you weren't enough, if you were injured, if you were immobile, if you were elderly, if you weren't contributing, then you might get left behind.